I'm Emily Bullough, the UVU librarian for the Marriage and Family Therapy program. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some of the tools that you can use as a UVU student to work on the projects for your research methods class. Now, I'm starting on the library's homepage, and by default, the main search box on our website is our OneSearch database, and it is what I recommend for finding scholarly research articles for your project. It works really well for finding articles related to psychology, therapy, social work, a lot of those topics that you may be working on in your class this semester. When you come to the library's homepage, which is uvu.edu/library, OneSearch will be automatically selected, and you can go ahead and start looking here to find articles that you can use in your projects. I'm going to use a sample topic of articles related to how family therapy might be able to help with the grieving process. And one of the first things to keep in mind when you are looking for articles in a library database is that you want to break your research question down into just the main ideas you plan to research. And that just has to do with the way databases are designed. They work best if you use short keywords instead of typing in your full research question. To get started, I'm going to go ahead and do a search for grief and just type that into the box. And I do want to point out while I'm here that there is an option for peer-reviewed, and you can go ahead and select this box if you know that you only want to see peer-reviewed articles from journals on your results list. But I am going to go ahead and run the search with the default settings so you can see what that looks like as well. And I'm just going to hit enter on my keyboard, and it will take us into our OneSearch database and find all of the articles that it can find, or all of the books and articles it can find on this topic that uses that term grief. And right now, since I did a broad search, it's finding almost 400,000 items that have something to do with grief. And they all appear in the middle of the page under this results list. And the item showing at the top is actually an article from an encyclopedia, kind of good for getting you some background information on the topic. And then we start to see an ebook on the topic. Looks like a video underneath, but it's all types of sources mixed together because I left it on those default settings on the home page. If I do want to narrow it down to those peer-reviewed articles from journals, I can use this filter over on the left side that says scholarly peer-reviewed journals. I can just go ahead and check that, and it's going to narrow down the results to just those scholarly articles. Since I still have only ran a search for grief, it looks like it's still finding more than 72,000 scholarly articles. I can go ahead and narrow down that results list by adding another keyword related to what I'd like to research. First, you want to do the word and it will start giving you some suggestions of other things people have searched for. And after the word and, I can do my other keyword that I would like to research. And I'm going to do family therapy. And notice family therapy is actually a two-word phrase, so I'm going to put quotation marks around family therapy to tell the database I want it to search for that exact phrase. And if we click on search, it's going to now update my results and only show me the articles that use both of those terms I've asked for, both grief and family therapy. And my results list is now much smaller because it's narrowed down to include that phrase family therapy. There are some additional filters on the left side that you might want to use besides that peer-reviewed box. There's also a publication date range that shows, right now it's showing me it's finding articles going all the way back to 1971 and then up to articles published this year in 2020. And I can actually change that year if I want to focus on a specific range of years. Just for this example, I'm going to change this to, let's say 2005, and hit enter on my keyboard. And again, it will refresh my results and only show me articles published between 2005 and 2020. So it's helpful depending on, if you want to focus on more recent articles, it can help to filter down those results. And then from here, I'm going to click on this first article as an example. Once you've kind of entered in your keywords and used your filters to focus on just the sources you would like to use, you can start looking at the titles and see if anything looks interesting to you. And we'll use this first one as our example. But if we click on the title, it's going to take you to a page with more information about this article. I can see the title of the article listed here at the top. The source line tells me the name of the journal it was published in. I can see it came out in June 2018. And if I scroll down a little bit more, there will be an abstract, which is a summary of the source. It gives me a nice overview and lets me know if it's relevant to my topic or not. But if I decide that I do want to read the article, look over on the left side of the page to see which options are available to actually read the full text of this source. And in this case, there's an option for PDF full text. And if we just click on that, it's going to bring up a PDF copy of the article. And this looks really standard for what a scholarly article looks like. It's usually kind of black and white text, but you can go ahead and use this PDF to actually read the full copy of the article. While you've got the PDF up, it usually has some options that allow you to actually download and save this PDF file. I'm seeing it right here at the top of my screen. There's a little icon for download, which would allow me to actually save a copy of this PDF and store it on my own computer. But if we go back, I do want to show over on the right, there's a whole list of tools that are also very helpful. There's a cite button, which you can click and it will pop up with a box with a bunch of citation styles for this specific article. And if you scroll down a little bit, the APA style citation for this article is right here. And I could go ahead and copy and paste that into my assignment. You do always want to give these the citations that are generated, a quick proofread just to make sure they are accurate and following proper APA style. This one looks really good. Sometimes they do make mistakes and leave things out though, so you do just want to make sure everything's included that's needed. But there is that cite button over here on the side that will make that citation for you. I do like to point out, if you are trying to save an article, you don't want to use the URL that's in your browser bar right here at the top of the website. That is not a stable link. If I tried to use this URL to bookmark it or save it, just the URL to get here again later, it would actually give me an error message. So if you're trying to save an article, make sure you actually download the PDF so you have it saved to your computer, or you can use this permalink option over here on the side, the right side. And the permalink option will pop up with a box that includes a URL that actually is stable. I would be able to save this permalink to get back to this page later. If you're ever working in a group, the email option over here on the side works really well to email it to your classmate. That will include a PDF copy of the article and a link that will come back here. A lot of people also use the email option just to email it to themselves. They just email it to their own address, their own email address, and that also works really well as an option for saving articles. But that's the basics on this page. I'm just going to go back and show one more example of what to do if there's not a PDF. So like this second article, if we click on this title and look over on the left, there's not actually a PDF available. In this case, instead I'm seeing a link that says Full Text Finder. If you see those Full Text Finder links, it means we don't have this article in our OneSearch database, but we might have it available in one of our other library databases. You're just going to go ahead and click on Full Text Finder to check to see if we have it. And it just opened up a new tab in my browser. It sometimes will pause on this page and just stop. If this happens, see this little link right here that says open the page in a new window. Go ahead and click that. And it's now opened another tab, and here's the article. So this also looks really good example of what a scholarly article looks like. They've got the abstract right here on the first page, and then kind of black and white. And usually these articles are reporting back on a research study. But we've got to this article, we started in OneSearch, and we clicked on the Full Text Finder link over here on the side. And that was what allowed us to actually access the full text of this article. So those are kind of my big tips for using OneSearch to find scholarly articles on your topic. One of the ways that students sometimes struggle to find articles is just trying to think, what are the best keywords to use? What should I actually search for? And just think about the main ideas that you want to research. For this example, we used grief and family therapy as our two keywords that allowed us to find articles that use both of those terms. Brainstorm what are those main ideas that you want to research. Think if there might be more than one way to describe them. If there's like synonyms involved, try searching for both of those ways of describing the topic. But another tip is to look for the subject terms. So once you get into the database, if you find an article like this one, look for a line that's labeled subjects, and that can give you some ideas of other keywords to search for. So like with this article, I looked for grief, but they do have grief as a subject term. but they also have bereavement as a keyword or as a subject term. And I could try searching for bereavement and family therapy to see if maybe that could help me find some additional articles. So brainstorm, like try to think of the best ways to describe your topic as a starting point. And then once you've found an article or two, you might see some terminology that's being used in the article that you could use, try to search for and try to find additional articles on the topic. Or you can also look for these subject terms in the database to get ideas of what to search for. And you can actually click on any of these to get to a results list of other articles that use that term. But that's our OneSearch database. If you do find any articles where the full text finder doesn't work, so if you can't actually get to a full copy of the article, that often means that we don't actually subscribe to the journal where that article is included. We might only have a summary and not a full text copy of it. If that ever happens, you can actually put in a request and the library will get you a copy totally free. That service is called Interlibrary Loan. It typically takes about 2 days to get those requests in. But you'll notice in OneSearch, there's a link over here on the left that says to request this item from another library. That allows you to submit the request for the article. So if full text finder had not worked, I could go ahead and use this request link. And I'm actually going to go to the library's homepage. There's also a link for Interlibrary Loan right here on our homepage. That also is where you can log into that system to submit requests for articles you'd like to read that the library doesn't already have. While I'm on the homepage, I also want to point out there's this whole Ask a Librarian section that you can use to call the library or chat back and forth with a librarian. This Ask a Librarian section here in the chat in particular works really well if you do just need to chat with a librarian for help accessing articles. They can brainstorm keywords with you or also check if we have access to an article you need. I do also want to show you a research guide that I've put together for family science and marriage and family therapy. If you're on the library's homepage, you can find it by using this link for research guides right here. That will take you into our research guide system, and just scroll down and there's an option for family science, and then choose the general one. This one at the top is for a specific class, but choose this general one for family science and marriage and family therapy. And that will take you to a research guide that I put together. It has all my contact information over on the right side. You can use that to schedule an appointment with me. We can meet one-on-one to kind of talk about your research project. You can also email me or call me. All of that's built into this guide. But it includes links to some of the main databases that you can use, including OneSearch. There's information down here about OneSearch, which is that database on our homepage. But there's a whole bunch of links over in this guide with some further research tips. So this search strategy page, it includes a lot of tips for how to format your keywords to find articles. There's some links over here, some more information about finding articles, some other databases you can look in. There's also some information about finding statistics and things like that. So this research guide is a good place to go just for some more tips and resources that might be helpful to you as students. And then just a last thing, if you're finding a lot of articles that you're using for a project, it can be a little tricky to keep track of things, right? So there are some software that you can use to help organize the citations that you're finding. One that I recommend is called Zotero. I'm just going to pull up their webpage now. Zotero is just a free software. It's called the citation management software, and it is a software that you can download and set up an account for. It's totally free for you, but if you set up an account with them, it's just a program that you can use to import citations for articles that you're planning to use, and it helps to keep everything organized, and you can take notes on the source, and it can actually help you generate your bibliographies for you. So just something to keep in mind if you do have a project where you're using lots of sources. Zotero is very popular just to help keep those citations organized. And then again, that is free for you as the students. Or actually that Zotero is free for anyone. And this is the library's homepage again. And again, there are all those Ask a Librarian features on the side, but you are more than welcome to reach out to me directly. Send me an email if you have questions, or we can set up appointments to meet one-on-one. And I just wish you luck this semester. Good luck with your projects.